I hate to clean after a session, but with this thing, it is a much more pleasant process. I use sunflower oil to clean my brushes after a session. This is one of the slowest drying one. You can use poppy oil, linseed oil or any other drying oil. The next important ingredient is soap. You can use a regular one or buy a special in art store. Here I have two different options. Da Vinci bar soap is a very good option. I've used it quite a lot and still have a few bars lying around. The next one is the Master's Brush Cleaner and Preserver. It's a bit pricey, especially if you live outside US. Compared to bar soap, it lasts much longer. I hate to clean after a session, but with this thing, it is a much more pleasant process. It also conditions your brushes and smells like lime. Has NAPC on it. What else do you need? For me, it's worth every penny. On my table, I have two containers with tap water. Let's clean our brushes. The first step is to put your brush in oil and wipe it using a paper towel. Repeat this process until not much pigment is left on the brush. So, after you rinse your brush, some pigments stay in a jar with oil. After some time it settles down at the bottom of the jar. You can see there are many pigments in mine. When letting a pigment settle down doesn't work for me anymore and oil is too dirty, I recycle the jar at the city waste center. All paints contain pigments and you need to comply with your local regulations when disposing of art materials, whether it's oils or acrylics. Also, this method helps to avoid draining chemicals into a sink. So, I finished the first step with all my brushes and it is time for the second round. I dip my brush in the first water container and swirl the brush in the brush cleaner. I also massage it a bit so no paint is left in the root of the filament. I rinse the brush in the first container, which is used for dirty water, wipe the brush using paper and then rinse it in the second container with clean water. Repeat this second round until the brush is absolutely clean. After I have cleaned all my brushes, I will let them dry in horizontal position. Because oil dries through oxidation, the material soaked with it can produce heat, leading to spontaneous combustion in rare cases. I use simple tightly sealed glass jar to keep paper towels soaked with oil to limit oxygen excess. I also add a little water to it. There are many special professional containers on the market to keep those rugs and paper towels safe, which is probably an even better and safer solution. The last thing left is to clean the palette. If it was a tear-off palette, I would put it in the same jar I used before. I like to keep my palette clean after a session, so if I don't plan on saving the paints, I would transfer them with the palette knife to the same paper towel I used for cleaning brushes. If you forget to clean your palette and it has dried paint on it now, you can easily scrape it off using a razor blade like this one. You can find it in any DIY or hardware store. Be careful not to cut yourself and always wear gloves when working with chemicals. After that, I wipe off my palette with another paper towel or a rag until it's clean. Again, in the case of paper towel, I put it in the jar. I like to use a rag in this case because I can just let it dry on my easel and there's not much paint on it. In this case, it is important not to crumple the rag to let it cool down without an issue. And of course, do not place it near heat sources and open fire. Just use common sense and don't be shy to ask supply manufacturers for the best practices on using, storing and disposing of their materials. In the next video, we are going to transfer our drawing.